The head coach of BYU baseball is now with us in Studio B. Guest number 2, Mike. Good to have you back, man.
Great to be here. Thanks.
It's baseball season. We're going to have you in here regularly.
Almost spring.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you guys go 4-0 over the weekend. What got into you guys to go 4-0 for the first time since '98?
I don't know. We love this team. We've said all along that we've got more depth. I think in the past, since I've been here 3 years ago, this is our 4th year, but we haven't had the depth. And, people talk about why do you need depth in baseball? But I think the last couple of years we've had maybe 5 or 6 really competitive hitters in the lineup and 4, maybe 3 or 4 that they'll battle for you, but you're not sure what you're going to get. And this year we have 12 or 13 guys we're going to run out there that are going to really make pitchers work. And so it was decent pitching. It wasn't the best pitching we'll see. I mean, those guys were upper 80s, some low 90s, but no matter what, I think no matter who we face, we're going to make those pitchers work and tax the other team staff. It's going to be nice.
Now, I shorted you a bit. I said 37 runs in 4 games. It was 37 in 3. It's 48 runs in 4 games. 12 runs a game. I mean, I know you want your team to perform well, but can you expect something like that realistically as a coach?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I would think when things shake out at the end of the year, hopefully we're putting up 6-7 runs a game. That's probably more would be nice.
That's kind of the target, 6 or 7.
I think with our staff this year, if we go 6 or 7 runs, we're going to be we'll be competitive. But you can never. I mean, it surprised me honestly. Every single guy in our lineup, with the exception of Bronson Larson, who struggled a little bit over the weekend, had great at bats. I mean, Brennan Lund, Player of the Week, West Coast Conference Player of the Week, hit like 680. Kyle Dean stepped up for us. Had a big home run in Game 1. Eric Urey had a home run. And what's incredible about this lineup, Kyle's hitting 8 in the lineup, and he puts together great at-bats. I mean, he's got such an advanced approach. He'll get 2 strikes, and it doesn't matter. He's going to battle and battle. And that's out of our 8-hitter. Our 9-hitter is either Jackson Clough or Nate Favero playing third base, which there's a battle going on right there, which is kind of nice to see. And then Brendan Anderson's hitting 7th. We're getting incredible production out of the bottom half of our lineup.
We made a big deal, and he deserved it for Kyle Dean when he signed. And then he hits a home run in that first game.
Yeah.
How pleasing was that to see? Okay, he can play at this level like we thought.
Yeah, it wasn't too hard to figure out that Kyle could play at this level. We were just relieved that he decided to come here. And honestly, the first series that he had was probably the best he's played since he arrived on campus. He looked more relaxed. Some guys are good practice players. Some guys are good game guys, and when the lights go on, they shine. And fortunately, we have a few of those guys this year, and Kyle's one of them.
Mike Littlewood, the head baseball coach of BYU, with us in Studio B on BYU Sports Nation. St. Louis was picked to win the Atlantic 10 Conference, so the preseason favorite. You sweep a team like that. What kind of accomplishment is that this early in the season?
Well, to sweep anyone is huge. It's just so tough to sweep a team in baseball, especially in a 4-game series. I was just hoping our guys would show up Monday and not be satisfied with 3 wins. It's hard after 2 wins not to be satisfied with 2 and come out the 3rd game, especially on a doubleheader. So that was tremendous to see that effort on Saturday night. And then again, we get down 5-2 in the 3rd and come back and bounce back and score 4 runs in the 4th in that last game, and it was on from there. So I just love, the one thing I've talked about with this team is we're talented, and we have a little depth, but man, they just want to go play. They have fun doing it. They get along. People talk about team chemistry, and I think it's underestimated in sports, in athletics. This team has team chemistry, and again, that's something you can't coach. You just keep your fingers crossed that there's going to be some leaders and some followers, and they're all going to get along.
48 runs, you about 406, but I thought the pitching was really good too. You get Michael Rucker and Maverick Buffo, and it looked like let's see, who was it? Hayden Rogers. I think day 1, 2, 3, all of them go at least 6.
Yeah.
Very few runs. What did you see from them?
All quality starts for us. I mean, Mike Rucker, there was probably 15, 20 scouts there, and they have all the guns and all the averages, and his average fastball was a little bit over 92 miles an hour, and he's throwing 3 pitches for strikes. It's exactly what we expect from Mike to set the tone. Buffo, Maverick was from Spanish Fork down here. He was almost the same. I mean, he was throwing his curveball for strikes all game long, throwing his off-speed stuff. Changeup looked really good, and his fastball was 89, 91. And then Hayden kind of changes it up from the left side, which was nice. What I liked is our offense gave us the opportunity to get every single guy on our staff, freshmen, transfers, at least 1 inning, which was nice to get that first college outing under your belt. now maybe the butterflies are gone and they can go out and compete next time. But they all did a great job.
Over the past few years, we've had more than a few conversations talking about just wanting your pitching staff to consistently throw strikes. Too many guys getting bases on balls.
Yeah.
Too many walks. And I heard from some of your players, I won't throw out specific names, but they said, we feel like this is the year that we're not going to walk as many guys. We have guys that can throw consistent strikes. Is this something that you see and that you would agree with?
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that we pound that into their head every single day. First pitch strike, work ahead, be efficient. All those catchphrases that you try to talk to your pitchers about. Ultimately, it comes down to talent. I mean, you got to get the guys on the mound that are going to be able to do that. And then the next thing, it's like shooting a free throw or putting. You know, you see one guy walk a guy, and then it just kind of builds and builds and builds. But I think that's why Mike Rucker and Maverick Buffo and Hayden Rogers are so important to us, because they set that tone, and they see all these other relievers are like, man, well, all we got to do is throw it over the plate. They'll hit it at us. We'll play catch. We've got a great defensive team. This week, I think we struck out 29 and walked 14. Our first pitch strike efficiency was around 55%, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Where do you want it to be?
55 is good. Ours might have been around 50. 55 is probably the average. So, I mean, if you can get ahead of hitters, I mean, their batting average is going to go way down. It's just, you know, you can look at the stats and the numbers, and so you always want to work ahead. But ultimately, it's up to the pitchers. Like, hey, I just got to go battle you. I get that first pitch over, work ahead, and be efficient. Those are the things we try to preach to our pitchers.
More satisfying, going 4-0 and playing really well, or the birth of your third grandchild?
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Rory Andrew Condis. Yeah. So shout out to Micah. She did an awesome job. Yeah.
Nice.
I need to have a grandson or granddaughter born every road trip, because I get to fly back instead of
Sounds like you need more
the
kids.
bus.
How does that work? Okay, so like what kind of traveling schedule did you have because of all of that?
Well, what was nice is Coach Herring was going to take me to the airport. I just booked a flight, you know, when I knew she had the baby, and Coach Herring and his wife Mary were going to take me to the airport. But I had a friend, Chad Shepard, that flew in. He's a basketball referee. Flew in and watched the games, and he was going to the airport, so I hopped in with him, went to the airport, and I was on my way.
Is that yesterday after the game?
After the game, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Got there about 4:30 for a 4:50 flight. It was perfect.
Perfect.
You're back early in the office doing some work, well rested.
You look really tan, by the way. We can tell you were not in Utah.
It's good from here up.
From there up. That's all you need.
It's all you need.
How much of a disadvantage is it to play on the road, essentially for the first month of the season? Because I mean, it's not baseball weather in Utah, so what kind of a challenge is that?
Well, you know, it's challenging in one regard. I think going on the road in any college athletics, baseball, basketball, whatever it is, and I think a study came out last week that basketball is the hardest to do, to go on the road and win. But it's just hard. It's just hard for these age kids to go on the road, be out of their element, and try to win against, you know, just they're not used to having all that stuff happen to them. Crowd yelling against them instead of for them. In high school, you know, your parents are out there rooting for you, and everybody's for you, and now some people are against them. It's hard. It's just hard to overcome. Well, on the flip side, I think it brings your team together. I think it gives you an opportunity to have some bonding time, to get to know your players on a little bit different level. So I look at it as more of a positive than I do a negative, because we're going to have to do that here. We've got to travel.
You have another 4-game series this week. You head to Alabama, Birmingham specifically, to play Samford, not to be confused with Stanford, which Blaine Fowler thought we said Stanford. Yeah. It was Stanford one time. How did you schedule this, and how much film or scouting can you do on a team like Samford?
Well, it's interesting. Not a whole lot of film, but Trent Pratt does our scouting report, and he also does our scheduling. He and I do our scheduling. He does the bulk of it. But Samford, it's an RPI scheduling. So was St. Louis. There are teams in the last couple of years that have won 30-plus games. So St. Louis, now we're rooting for St. Louis every single game they play. I mean, because when we beat them up like that and they go win 30 games, which I think they will, we caught them on a really good week, I think, then it's going to really help our RPI. And then by going down to Birmingham, and if we can win the series down there and then have them win 30 games, that really helps our RPI. We'll call around. Trent calls around other coaches, common opponents, to get scouting reports, and Trent does a great job. But we know exactly what the other team's going to do, pretty much to a T.
BYU picked to finish 5th in the West Coast Conference. Now, do you put that in the back of your players' minds often?
You know, I don't, to be honest with you. I really don't. I don't use it because I just think that other teams don't have any clue who we have on our team with the missions. So it's like Nate Favero. They don't remember Nate Favero. He's hitting like 500 for us. They don't remember Brandon Anderson. He's going to hit 300 this year. They just don't remember some of the guys that we have coming back. And so if you just look at last year's team and who we lost, maybe I would pick us 5th or 6th or something anyway. But if we don't come close to winning this league and reaching a regional, I'll be disappointed. I know all the other 35 guys in our program will as well.
We need you to sign our Stretch Y flag, if you don't mind.
It's a new one.
It's a new one.
It's a new one.
Yeah.
All right.
You signed the Rise Up flag.
Okay.
That one got loaded up,
All
so we have a new flag.
We've never had a former basketball ref sign this, so this is very exciting for us.
Happy to do it.
Coach, congratulations.
More karma, especially for that road trip. The games are one thing. The road trip will be another. You know what I'm saying?
We'll give out the BYU Sports Nation karma for BYU to hit Birmingham, Alabama, and take on Samford in their RPI battle. Coach, we appreciate the time,
Thanks,
man.
guys. Appreciate it.